Hi, good morning. This is Diane from DNF Properties. I'm out here enjoying the coast today, but I thought I'd go ahead and listen to my breakfast meeting and share some information with you all. As promised, I'd like to do these weekly meetings, weekly videos, so you can get some information about real estate. Today we had Ashlee Gonzales. She's a real estate attorney, talk to our group. She specializes in real estate and in evictions. So that's a good source if you ever need someone for your rental properties. And before I talk about what she talked about, I just wanted to give you some market update. We have very low inventory. Inventory is dropping or pretty steady. It's been holding steady. It's not increasing, which is causing buyers to come out, and we're starting to see multiple offers again. Prices are holding steady. Pendings are going up, which means that buyers are purchasing what's there. A lot of the reasons why we don't have any more inventory or much inventory added to the market is because 75% of people that have mortgages have rates under 5. So they're not that motivated to sell. The people that are going to sell are people that have to sell or want to move up or have a life change. So you're not seeing people want to just sell and leave their 2-3% mortgage and go into a 6% or 6.5% mortgage. So that's one of the reasons why we have low inventory. And buyers are noticing that. They're a little disappointed because they're noticing that open houses are really full, and they can't really negotiate like they did a few months ago. 2-3 months ago was a really good time for buyers to jump in. I've been telling my buyers to jump in, and people just don't do it, and then now we're stuck with high buyer demand again. So that was the information for the market. Now, as far as Ashlee Gonzales' presentation, she was just telling us common disputes between buyers and sellers that are occurring right now in real estate. And one of the biggest disputes is the deposit. When there's a real estate transaction, there's normally a deposit placed into escrow, a good faith deposit to guarantee that that buyer is going to complete the transaction. It's usually a 3% deposit if there's liquidated damages signed. Otherwise, if the liquidated damages is not signed, then the deposit, the damages, or if there's a court case, can be a lot higher than the 3%. However, there is a lot of tricky situations with these deposits. It doesn't automatically go to the seller if there is a default. There's a lot of different circumstances around that, and that's just something to be aware when you're a buyer or a seller. It doesn't automatically go to the seller. It doesn't automatically go back to the buyer. It depends on what the contract says, and it depends on the situation of that default. Another case that she sees a lot is she sees a lot of disclosure situations here. Square footage discrepancy. I'm seeing my notes. We just listened to this presentation right now. But disclosures, disputes. One of it is square footage. So sellers have to be very careful when they disclose what their square footage is. If they did an improvement in the house, added, they have to make sure it's done with permits and disclose the proper amount. So there's a lot of disclosure issues that are being brought up. Of course, as a real estate broker for 40 years, I make sure that we're going to disclose the proper information to that buyer so that you don't have any disputes in the future. There's also a lot of problems with unpermitted work. That's, again, something that you need to disclose to the buyers. Even if you're doing, believe it or not, you're supposed to have a permit for a water heater. Even if you would change a water heater and you didn't have a permit for that, you have to disclose that to the buyer. So there's a lot of things that you just want to be careful, disclose everything you know, and that will help if there's ever a lawsuit from the buyer. There's also a lot of problems with land use. We have SB 9 and 10 in California now where you can split lots. But once you split the lot once, you can't split it again. So if you have a lot that's been split and you sell it, you've got to let that buyer know so that they don't want to, if they wanted to split it again or something of that nature, it's a disclosure issue. And again, you need to let them know. If you're selling an investment property, there are some properties in San Jose and California that you can't raise the rent after you purchase it or kick that tenant out. There's a lot of laws protecting the tenants. Again, it depends where you're at in California, what city you are at. You need to know what those laws are. So it's really imperative that a buyer investor check with the attorney or check with the law before they buy this property, so they're not stuck with the lower rent if those rents are getting lower amount from the seller. So there's a lot of things there that you have to look at. And again, as your realtor, I will make sure that we get the proper information for you so you can make the right decision. Right now, there's a lot of issues because of our storms with roofs, foundations, basements being flooded. So that's another thing too. If you had those issues happen in January and you repaired them, or they just went away and you really can't even tell, you need to disclose that to the buyer. So there's a lot of issues that she's seen in her office in reference to that. Also, she's seen a lot of neighbor dispute issues. So there might be easement issues between the property or other issues with disputes between the neighbors, a fence that flew over, and you've got to disclose that to your potential buyers if you do have a dispute with your neighbors. And then finally, she did talk about the title report. As a buyer, make sure you read that title report and make sure you understand what's on that title report. Your realtor will help you decipher the information, and if they can't help you, you really need to check with an attorney or talk to the title companies. They can explain the title report a lot better than an agent can. So when you're a buyer, make sure you read all the documents correctly. If you have any questions, ask your realtor. Your realtor doesn't know, your realtor will find those questions for you, those answers for your questions. So I'm here to help you. So if you do help with come purchase with me or sell with me, I will make sure that all the disclosures are properly filled out, and I'll make sure, if I don't know the answer, that I'll get that answer for you or give you the information you need, person that you need to get that information from. And if you ever need an attorney for any real estate related issues, Ashlee Gonzales from Brewer's attorneys laws here in San Jose will help you. And if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. My name's Diane from DNF Properties, 408-221-6602 or 408-270-9776. Have a great day, everyone.